December 1993. Michael Jordan had everything: 3 championship rings, millions of dollars, fame beyond measure. But when he picked up the phone to call his mother, she didn't answer. Again. His siblings stopped visiting. His brother Larry sent a letter that cut deeper than any loss on the court. "You've changed. We don't know you anymore." The greatest basketball player in the world sat alone in his mansion, surrounded by trophies that suddenly felt meaningless. His father had just been murdered, and instead of pulling together, his family was pushing him away. What Michael didn't know was that the next 2 years would force him to choose between the spotlight and the people who mattered most. What he would discover about himself, and what his family would learn about him, would change everything. This is the story of how Michael Jordan lost his family and the shocking truth about what he did to win them back. The mansion felt too big. Michael Jordan sat alone in his living room in Highland Park, Illinois. Outside, snow fell softly on the December night. Christmas lights blinked on houses down the street. Inside, the house was quiet, too quiet. Michael looked at the phone on the table. He wanted to call his mother. He picked it up, then put it down again. He had tried 3 times this week. She never answered. His fingers touched the letter in his pocket. It came yesterday from his brother Larry. Michael pulled it out and read it again, even though the words made his chest hurt. "Dear Michael, I don't know how to say this. You've changed. We don't know you anymore. Maybe you don't need us anymore. Larry." Michael crushed the letter in his hand. His eyes burned, but he didn't cry. Winners don't cry, that's what he told himself. But right now, he didn't feel like a winner. He walked to his trophy room. 3 championship trophies sat on glass shelves. They shined under the lights. Most Valuable Player awards lined the walls. Photos showed him holding the NBA championship trophy, smiling big for the cameras. But tonight, those trophies felt cold, like metal and nothing else. His wife Juanita walked into the room. She put her hand on his shoulder. "Did your mom call back?" she asked softly. Michael shook his head. "No." "What about Roslyn?" "No one's calling, Juanita. No one." Juanita squeezed his shoulder. "They're still hurting. Give them time." Time? Everyone said he needed to give them time. But how much time? It had been 5 months since his father died. 5 months since everything fell apart. 5 months since his family stopped talking to him. Michael thought about his sister Roslyn. She used to call him every Sunday. They would talk about everything: her kids, his games, old memories from North Carolina. But she stopped calling in September. When he called her, she was always busy, always had somewhere to be. His brother James worked for a basketball team now. They used to talk about the game for hours. Now when Michael called, James kept it short. "I'm good, busy, talk later." Then he would hang up. Larry hurt the most. Larry was his best friend growing up. They played basketball in the backyard until dark. They shared a bedroom. They told each other secrets. Now Larry sent letters that felt like goodbye. Michael walked to the window. He could see Chicago's skyline in the distance. Millions of people in that city loved him. They wore his jersey. They wanted his autograph. They chanted his name at games. But his own family wouldn't answer the phone. The phone rang. Michael jumped. His heart raced. Maybe it was his mom. Maybe she was ready to talk. He ran to the phone and grabbed it. "Hello." "Michael, it's David." His agent's voice, not his mother. Michael's shoulders dropped. "Hey, David. Just calling about the Nike meeting next week. They want to." "Can I call you back?" Michael interrupted. "Sure, but it's important. The new shoe line." "I said I'll call you back." Michael hung up. He felt bad right away. David was just doing his job, but Michael couldn't think about shoes and meetings right now. He couldn't think about basketball. All he could think about was his family. He picked up a photo from the table. It showed him and his dad at a Bulls game last year. His dad wore his lucky blue hat. He was smiling so big. They had no idea that would be one of their last games together. His father died in July on a highway in North Carolina. 2 young men shot him for his car, Michael's gift to him, a red Lexus. The police found his body days later. Michael fell apart. The whole family did. But somehow in the pain, something else broke too. Something between Michael and his family, something he didn't understand. At the funeral, his siblings barely talked to him. His mother hugged him, but it felt different, cold, far away. After the funeral, Larry pulled him aside. They stood under a tree behind the church in Wilmington. Larry's eyes were red from crying. "Where were you, Michael?" Larry asked. "When was the last time you actually talked to Dad?" Michael stepped back. "What are you talking about? I talk to him all the time." No, you called him on holidays, quick calls, 5 minutes. Then you had to go, always had to go. I was busy, Larry. I had games, practice, meetings. We all know how busy you are. Larry's voice was angry now. The whole world knows, but Dad needed you. Not your money, not tickets to games. He needed you. Those words hit Michael like a punch. He tried to speak, but Larry kept going. Rosalind tried to tell you, Mom tried, but you never listened. You were too big for us, too famous. That's not fair, Michael said, his voice shaking. You know what's not fair? Larry stepped closer. Dad died holding his phone. Did you know that? The police told us. He was probably trying to call someone, maybe trying to call you, but you weren't there, you're never there. Larry walked away, he didn't look back. Michael stood alone under that tree for a long time. People walked past him. No one stopped to talk. Even at his own father's funeral, he was alone. Now, 5 months later, nothing had changed. He was still alone. Michael looked at Larry's letter again. The paper was wrinkled from his tight grip. One line stood out. Maybe you don't need us anymore. That wasn't true. He needed them more than ever. But how could he make them see that? How could he prove that he still loved them? That he was still their Michael? Juanita came back into the room. Come to bed. It's late. I can't sleep, Michael said. You haven't slept in weeks. I can't stop thinking about them. Juanita sat next to him. Then maybe you need to do something. Not call, not send money. Actually do something. Michael looked at her. Like what? I don't know, but whatever you're doing now isn't working. She was right. Calling didn't work. Letters didn't work. Nothing worked. Michael stood up and walked to his trophy room again. He stared at those championships. He had worked so hard for these, practiced until his hands bled, played through pain, never gave up, never quit. But what good were they now? What good was being the best basketball player in the world if his own mother wouldn't talk to him? He thought about his childhood home in Wilmington, the small brick house on Gordon Road. 5 kids sharing 2 bedrooms. His mom cooking dinner every night at 6 o'clock sharp. Everyone sitting around the table talking about their day, laughing, fighting, being a family. When did that change? When did he stop being part of them? Michael picked up the crumpled letter one more time. He smoothed it out on the table. Then he whispered to the empty room, "They don't understand what I had to do." But even as he said it, he wondered. What had he done, really? And was it worth losing everything? He walked upstairs to his bedroom. Juanita was already asleep. Michael laid down but kept his eyes open. He stared at the ceiling, thinking about his family, thinking about his father, thinking about that tree behind the church where Larry said those terrible, true words. Outside, the snow kept falling. Chicago slept. But Michael couldn't, because somewhere deep inside he knew something. Something he wasn't ready to admit yet. Maybe his family was right, maybe he had changed. Maybe he had forgotten what really mattered. And maybe, just maybe, this was all his fault. Michael couldn't sleep. His mind kept going back before the fame, before the money, before everything changed. He remembered being 12 years old in Wilmington, North Carolina. The year was 1975 and life was simple. Hard, but simple. The Jordan family lived in a small brick house on Gordon Road. It wasn't fancy. The paint on the shutters was peeling. The driveway had cracks, but it was home. Michael shared a bedroom with his brothers Larry and James. Their beds were so close together that Michael could reach out and touch Larry's arm at night. Sometimes they would talk in the dark until their mother yelled at them to go to sleep. His sisters Dolores and Rosalind shared the other bedroom. 5 kids, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Everyone waited in line every morning to brush their teeth. His father, James Jordan Sr., worked at General Electric. He left the house at 6 in the morning wearing his blue work uniform. His hands were rough from years of hard work, but those hands were gentle when he helped Michael with homework at the kitchen table. His mother, Dolores, worked at the United Carolina Bank downtown. She wore nice dresses to work and always smiled at customers. But Michael knew she was tired. He could see it in her eyes when she came home. Money was tight. They ate a lot of chicken and rice. His mom made the same meals every week. Monday was spaghetti night, Tuesday was chicken, Wednesday was leftovers, but somehow she made it taste like love. Every night at 6 o'clock, the whole family sat down for dinner. It didn't matter what anyone was doing. When Mom said dinner was ready, you came to the table. They would hold hands and say grace. Then everyone would talk about their day. His dad would ask each kid questions, real questions. He listened to every answer like it was the most important thing in the world. "Michael, what did you learn today?" his father would ask. "We learned about fractions in math," Michael might say. "Good, math is important. You need math for everything in life." Then his dad would turn to Larry. "How about you, son?" Larry always had funny stories. He made everyone laugh. Even when times were hard, Larry could find something to smile about. Those dinners were Michael's favorite time, everyone together. No TV, no distractions, just family. After dinner, Michael and Larry would run outside to the backyard. They had a basketball hoop that their dad put up. It was crooked. The net was torn. The concrete under it was cracked and uneven. But to Michael, it was perfect. He and Larry would play one-on-one until it got too dark to see. Larry was older and stronger. He beat Michael almost every time. Michael would get so mad, he would throw the ball, stomp his feet. "You're a sore loser," Larry would laugh. "I'm not losing next time," Michael would say. "That's what you said last time." But Larry wasn't being mean. He was teaching Michael something, teaching him to keep trying, to get better, to never give up. Their father would sit on the back steps and watch them play. Sometimes he would give advice. "Michael, move your feet faster. Larry, don't reach in like that." Other times he just watched and smiled. One night after Larry beat him again, Michael sat on the steps next to his dad. He was sweating and breathing hard. His knees were scraped from falling on the rough concrete. "I can't beat him," Michael said. "He's too good." His father put his arm around Michael's shoulders. "Not yet, but you will." "How do you know?" "Because you want it more. I see it in your eyes. You practice longer. You try harder. Larry is good, but you have something special inside you, something that won't quit." Those words stayed with Michael forever, something special that won't quit. The next year, when Michael was 13, something happened that hurt him bad. He tried out for the varsity basketball team at Laney High School. He was just a sophomore, but he thought he was good enough. He practiced for weeks, shot hundreds of baskets every day, ran until his legs shook. He wanted that spot on the team more than anything. The day the list came out, Michael ran to the gym. His heart was pounding. He pushed through the crowd of kids and looked at the names posted on the wall. He read it once, then again, then a third time. His name wasn't there. He got cut. Michael felt like someone punched him in the stomach. He couldn't breathe. His eyes got hot with tears, but he wouldn't cry, not here, not in front of everyone. He walked home slowly. When he got there, he went straight to his room. He laid on his bed and stared at the ceiling. Larry came in. "I heard," Larry said quietly. "I'm sorry. I don't want to talk about it." Larry sat on his own bed. "Coach is stupid. You're better than half those guys." "Doesn't matter now." "It matters. You're going to show them." Michael rolled over to face the wall. "How? I got cut." "So practice harder, get better, make them sorry they cut you." That night at dinner, Michael barely ate. His father noticed. "What's wrong, son?" Michael didn't want to say it out loud, but his mother already knew. News traveled fast in their small town. "He didn't make the team," she said softly. Everyone got quiet. Michael felt all their eyes on him. He wanted to disappear. His father put down his fork. "Come outside with me." They walked to the backyard. The sun was setting. The sky was pink and orange. They sat on the back steps together. "This hurts right now," his father said. "I know it does." Michael nodded. He didn't trust himself to speak. "But let me tell you something. This is the moment that will make you, not break you, make you." "How?" Michael's voice cracked. "Because now you have a choice. You can quit. You can say basketball isn't for you, or you can work harder than you've ever worked in your life. You can prove them wrong." "What if I work hard and still don't make it?" His father looked at him, really looked at him. "Then you work harder and harder until you do make it, because Jordan men don't quit. We don't give up, ever." Michael felt something change inside him. The hurt was still there, but now something else was there too. Fire, anger, determination. "I'm going to make them sorry," Michael said. His father smiled. "That's my boy." From that day on, Michael practiced every single day, before school, after school, weekends. He shot baskets in the rain, in the cold, when his hands were so tired they could barely hold the ball. Larry still played with him, still beat him sometimes, but less and less. Michael was getting better, faster, stronger. The next year, Michael made the team. Then he became a starter. Then he became a star. College scouts came to watch him play. His family came to every game. His father wore the same blue hat to each one. His mother sat in the front row and cheered louder than anyone. After games, win or lose, they would all go out for ice cream. Even when money was tight, his father would find a way. They would squeeze into one booth at the local shop. 5 kids, 2 parents, all talking and laughing. "Did you see that shot Michael made?" Rosalind would say. "I saw Larry trip over his own feet in gym class," James would joke. They would laugh until their stomachs hurt. Those were the best nights. Michael remembered one night after a big win. They were all sitting in that booth. His father looked around at all of them and said, "This right here, this is what matters, not the score, not the trophies, this, family." Everyone nodded. They understood. But did Michael really understand? Looking back now from his big empty house in Chicago, he wondered, did he really get what his father was trying to teach him? By his senior year, Michael was the best player in the state. College coaches called the house every week. His mom had to get a second phone line just for recruiting calls. The University of North Carolina offered him a full scholarship. Coach Dean Smith himself came to their house on Gordon Road. He sat in their small living room and drank sweet tea that Michael's mother made. "Your son is special," Coach Smith told his parents. "We'd be honored to have him at Carolina." Michael's father shook Coach Smith's hand. "You take care of him, he's a good boy." "I promise," Coach Smith said. The night before Michael left for college, the whole family had a special dinner. His mother cooked all his favorite foods: fried chicken, collard greens, mac and cheese, sweet potato pie. After dinner, Michael and his father went outside one last time. They stood under the stars in the backyard. The basketball hoop stood in the shadows. "You're going to do great things," his father said. "I can feel it." "I'm scared," Michael admitted. "What if I'm not good enough?" "You're good enough, but remember something. No matter how good you get, no matter how many games you win, don't forget where you came from. Don't forget this." He pointed at the house. "Don't forget us." Michael hugged his father tight. "I won't, I promise. I'll make you proud, no matter what it takes." His father hugged him back. "You already make me proud just by being you." But Michael wanted more than that. He wanted to be great. He wanted to be the best. He wanted to make sure his family never struggled for money again. He wanted to give them everything they never had. He made a promise to himself under those stars, a promise that felt right at the time. He would work harder than anyone. He would become the best basketball player in the world. He would make the Jordan name mean something, no matter what it takes. Those words echoed in his mind now as he laid in his bed in Chicago. No matter what it takes. He had kept that promise. He became the best. He made millions. He bought his mother a house. He gave his family money. He made the Jordan name famous around the world, but somewhere along the way he forgot the other part, the more important part. Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget us. He forgot. And now they were gone. Michael closed his eyes. He could almost smell his mother's fried chicken. Could almost hear Larry's laugh. Could almost feel his father's hand on his shoulder. But when he opened his eyes, he was alone in his big house. The memories were just memories. The family was just phone calls that no one answered. The boy from Wilmington was gone, and Michael didn't know how to get him back. Michael's first year at the University of North Carolina changed everything. Chapel Hill was only 150 miles from Wilmington, but it felt like a different world. The campus was huge, old brick buildings covered with ivy, thousands of students walking to class. The Dean Smith Center basketball arena held 21,000 people. Michael had never seen anything like it. His freshman year was 1981. He was just 18 years old, skinny, nervous, but hungry to prove himself. Coach Dean Smith was different from any coach Michael ever had. He was calm, organized. He believed in team play, not individual stars. At first, Michael struggled with that. He wanted to score every time he touched the ball. "Michael, pass the ball," Coach Smith would say during practice. "Trust your teammates." But Michael had spent years learning to do everything himself. That's how he made the team at Laney High. That's how he became a star. Now he had to learn a different way. His roommate was Buzz Peterson, another freshman. They stayed up late talking about basketball, about home, about their dreams. "You think we'll actually play this year?" Buzz asked one night. "I hope so," Michael said. "I didn't come here to sit on the bench." But freshmen rarely played much at Carolina. Everyone knew that. The upperclassmen got the minutes. Freshmen had to wait their turn, except Michael didn't wait long. By December, Coach Smith was playing him more and more. Michael's defensive skills impressed everyone. His jumping ability amazed people. And when he got the ball, magic happened. His family came to his first home game. They drove up from Wilmington in 2 cars. His father wore his lucky blue hat. His mother brought sandwiches for the drive. Larry and James teased Michael the whole trip. "Don't mess up in front of us," Larry joked. "I won't," Michael said, smiling. They sat in the family section. Michael looked for them during warm-ups. When he spotted them, his mother waved big. His father gave him a thumbs up. Just seeing them there made Michael feel strong. Carolina won that game. Michael played 15 minutes and scored 8 points. Not bad for a freshman. After the game, his family waited outside the locker room. When Michael came out, his mother hugged him tight. "You were wonderful," she said. "I only scored 8 points, Mom." "I don't care about points. You looked happy out there." His father shook his hand. "You played good defense. That's what wins games." They all went to dinner at a local restaurant. The whole family squeezed into a booth just like old times. They ordered burgers and fries. Larry stole food from Michael's plate. Rosalind talked about her new boyfriend. James made everyone laugh with impressions of the referees. For those 2 hours, everything felt normal. Everything felt right. But then they had to drive back to Wilmington. Michael stood in the parking lot and watched their cars disappear down the highway. Something inside him felt heavy. He walked back to his dorm alone. The season got better and better. Carolina kept winning. And then came March 1982, the NCAA championship game against Georgetown. Michael was still just a freshman, but Coach Smith trusted him. He was in the starting lineup. The game was in New Orleans at the Superdome. Over 61,000 people packed the arena. Michael's whole family made the trip. They couldn't afford hotels, so they stayed with his mother's cousin who lived 2 hours away. The game was close, back and forth. Georgetown had Patrick Ewing, one of the best college players in the country. He was 7 feet tall and blocked everything. With 32 seconds left, Carolina was losing by 1 point. Coach Smith called timeout. In the huddle, he drew up a play. "We're going to James Worthy. If he's covered, Michael, you'll be open on the left wing." Michael's heart pounded. His hands were sweating. This was the biggest moment of his life. They went back on the court. The ball came in. Worthy was covered. The pass came to Michael. He caught it, jumped, released, swish. Carolina took the lead 63-62. Georgetown missed their last shot. Carolina won. Michael won his first championship. His teammates mobbed him. The crowd went crazy, but Michael looked for his family. He found them in the stand. His father had tears running down his face. His mother was jumping up and down. His brothers and sisters were screaming and hugging each other. That moment, that right there, that was everything. After the celebration, after the trophy ceremony, after the interviews, Michael finally got to see his family. They were waiting outside the locker room at midnight. His father grabbed him first, hugged him so hard Michael could barely breathe. "I'm so proud of you," his father whispered. So proud." His mother kissed his face over and over. My baby made the winning shot." Larry punched his arm. "Okay, maybe you're pretty good." They laughed, they cried, they held each other, but the celebration was short. Michael had to get on the team bus. His family had to drive back to their cousin's house, then back to Wilmington in the morning. His father had to work on Monday. "I wish you could stay," Michael said. "We do too," his mother said, "but we'll see you soon." "When?" "Spring break, you're coming home, right?" Of course, Michael promised, but spring break came and went. Coach Smith wanted the team to practice. Michael called home and said he couldn't make it. "But we haven't seen you in months," his mother said on the phone. "I know, Mom, I'm sorry, but this is important." "And we're not." "That's not what I mean. Coach needs me here." Silence on the other end. Then his mother said quietly, "Okay, Michael, we understand." But he could hear the hurt in her voice. Summer came. Michael went home for a few weeks, but it felt different. His siblings had their own lives now. Larry had a girlfriend, James was working construction, Rosalind was planning her wedding. They still had family dinners, but Michael's mind was somewhere else. He was thinking about next season, about the NBA scouts who were starting to watch him, about his future. One night, his father noticed Michael staring off into space during dinner. "You okay, son?" "Yeah, just thinking." "About what?" "About basketball, about going pro maybe." His father nodded slowly. "That's a big dream." "You think I can do it?" "I know you can, but remember, there's more to life than basketball." Michael smiled. "I know, Dad." But did he really? His sophomore year was even better. His junior year was amazing. By then, everyone knew his name. Sports magazines put his picture on the cover. NBA scouts came to every game. His family still came to home games, but not everyone. His father's work schedule was busy. Gas money was expensive. Michael understood. He told them it was okay. "I'll get you tickets when I go pro," he promised. "Front row seats, every game." But his father said, "We don't need front row seats. We just need to see you." Michael didn't understand the difference back then. In 1984, the Chicago Bulls drafted him, 3rd pick overall. It was a dream come true. The whole family came to New York for the draft. They dressed up in their best clothes. Michael wore a bright red suit that looked wild, but he felt like a champion. When the Bulls called his name, Michael walked on stage. He shook the commissioner's hand. He held up the Bulls jersey. Cameras flashed everywhere. His family cheered louder than anyone. That night they had a party at a fancy restaurant in New York. The Bulls paid for everything: steak dinners, expensive wine for the adults, desserts piled high. Larry looked around at the fancy restaurant. "This is crazy," he whispered to Michael. "This is just the beginning," Michael said, and he was right, but not in the way he thought. After dinner, Michael's new agent, David Falk, pulled him aside. "We need to talk about your contract and endorsement deals. Nike wants to meet with you tomorrow." "Tomorrow? But my family's here. We were going to spend the day together." David put his hand on Michael's shoulder. "Michael, this is your career. This is millions of dollars. Your family will understand." Michael looked back at his family. They were laughing, taking pictures, having fun. "Can it wait one day?" Michael asked. "In this business, you can't wait. Opportunities don't wait." Michael thought about it, then he nodded. "Okay." He went back to the table and told his family, "I'm sorry, but I have to meet with Nike tomorrow. It's important." His mother's smile faded a little. "You're not coming back to Wilmington with us." "I'll come next week, I promise." His father didn't say anything, just nodded. Larry said, "Hey, it's cool. You're a big shot now." Everyone laughed, but the laugh felt forced. Michael hugged them all goodbye at the hotel. They were driving back to North Carolina that night. He was staying in New York. As he watched them walk to their car, something felt wrong, but he pushed the feeling away. This was business. This was his future. They would understand. Next week came. Michael was too busy to visit Wilmington. He called instead. "Next month," he promised. "I'll come next month." But next month training camp started. Then the season began. Then he moved to Chicago. His family drove to Chicago for his first NBA game. They stayed at a cheap hotel because Michael didn't think to book them something nice. He was too focused on the game. He scored 16 points that night. The Bulls lost, but Michael played well. After the game, they went to a diner, not a fancy restaurant, just a regular diner. Michael was exhausted. He barely talked. "You okay?" his mother asked. "Just tired. NBA is harder than college." "You played great," his father said. "Not great enough, we lost." "It's one game, Michael." But to Michael, every game mattered. Every game was a chance to prove himself, to show the world he belonged. His family only stayed one day. They had to get back to work, back to their lives. Michael hugged them goodbye in the hotel parking lot. "I'll call you," he said. "We'll be waiting," his mother said. But when Michael did call, the conversations got shorter. He was always rushed, always had somewhere to be. "How are you?" his mother would ask. "Good, busy. Practice was hard today." "How's Juanita?" She was Michael's girlfriend. "She's fine. Listen, Mom, I have to go. I have a meeting." "Okay, baby, we love you." "Love you too." Click 5-minute conversations, once a week, then once every 2 weeks, then just holidays. His first Christmas in Chicago, Michael couldn't come home. The Bulls had a game on December 26th. "Stay an extra day," his mother begged. "Please." "I can't. Coach wants us back." "It's Christmas, Michael." "I know, Mom, I'm sorry. Next year will be different." But next year was the same, and the year after that. His siblings stopped asking when he would visit. They just assumed he was too busy, too important. Larry got married. Michael came to the wedding but left right after the reception. He had a photo shoot for Nike the next morning. "Can't you stay?" Larry asked. "We haven't hung out in forever." "I really can't, I'm sorry." Larry just nodded. "Yeah, okay." The distance grew, not miles, something worse, emotional distance. His family read about his life in magazines instead of hearing it from him. They watched him on TV instead of seeing him in person. Michael kept telling himself he was doing this for them, working hard, making money, making the Jordan name famous. But he never asked them if that's what they wanted. He never asked if they would trade all the fame and money just to have their Michael back. The boy who played basketball in the backyard until dark. The boy who made them laugh at dinner. The boy who needed them as much as they needed him. That boy was disappearing, and nobody knew how to bring him back, not even Michael. By 1985, Michael Jordan was everywhere. His face smiled from cereal boxes in grocery stores. Kids wore his shoes to school. Posters of him dunking hung in bedrooms across America. The number 23 became the most popular jersey in basketball. Michael signed a deal with Nike. They created a whole shoe line just for him, Air Jordans. The first pair was red and black. The NBA said they broke uniform rules, but kids didn't care. They wanted them anyway. Nike paid Michael $500,000 a year. Then Gatorade wanted him. Then McDonald's. Then Chevrolet. The money poured in. More money than Michael ever imagined. In his first year alone, he made $25 million from endorsements. That was more than most NBA players made in their entire careers. Michael bought a huge house in Chicago. Then he bought his mother a house too, a beautiful place with a big kitchen and a yard. He wanted her to stop working at the bank. "You don't have to work anymore, Mom," he told her on the phone. "I'm taking care of everything now." His mother was quiet for a moment. "That's very generous, Michael, thank you." But her voice sounded strange, sad almost. "What's wrong?" Michael asked. "Don't you like the house?" "The house is beautiful, it's just, I miss Wilmington, I miss my friends, my church, everything I know." "But Chicago is great, Mom. You'll make new friends." "I'm 60 years old, Michael. I don't want new friends. I want my old life." Michael didn't understand. He thought he was helping, giving her the life she deserved, a better life. "Just try it," he said, "please, for me." His mother moved to Chicago, but she never seemed happy there. She kept the house in Wilmington too, spent half her time there, half in Chicago. "Why won't she just stay?" Michael asked Juanita one night. "Because Chicago isn't her home," Juanita said. "You are, and you're never here." That stung, but Michael pushed the feeling away. He was building something, creating a legacy. His family would understand eventually. His brother Larry came to visit once. Michael was excited to show him around Chicago, the city, the restaurant, his new life. They went to dinner at an expensive steakhouse. Michael ordered the most expensive items on the menu. He wanted to treat his brother, but Larry was quiet the whole meal. He barely touched his food. "What's wrong?" Michael finally asked. "Don't you like it?" Larry put down his fork. "It's fine, it's just, this isn't us, Michael." "What do you mean?" "This," Larry gestured around the restaurant. $100 steaks, wine that costs more than my car payment. This isn't who we are." "It's who I am now," Michael said. Larry looked at him for a long time. "Yeah, I guess it is." They finished dinner in silence. Larry flew back to North Carolina the next day. He said it was a work thing, but Michael knew better. Michael threw himself deeper into basketball. If his family didn't understand, fine. The game never let him down. The court made sense. Work hard, score points, win games. Simple. The 1985-86 season started great. Then Michael broke his foot. He was out for most of the year. Sitting on the bench drove him crazy. He wasn't used to being still, wasn't used to not being the star. His family called more during that time, checking on him, asking how he felt. "I'm fine," he always said, "just ready to get back out there." "Maybe this is a blessing," his mother said once. "Time to rest, time to think about life beyond basketball." "Basketball is my life, Mom." "It shouldn't be your whole life." But Michael didn't agree. Basketball gave him purpose, identity. Without it, who was he? He came back that season for the playoffs. The Bulls played the Boston Celtics. Boston had Larry Bird, one of the greatest players ever. Michael scored 63 points that game, an NBA playoff record. Even though the Bulls lost, everyone talked about Michael's performance. After the game, Larry Bird told reporters, "That was God disguised as Michael Jordan." Michael read that quote in the newspaper the next day. He smiled. This was what he lived for, the respect, the recognition, being the best. He called his father to tell him about the game. "I saw it," his father said. "You were amazing." Larry Bird said, "I looked like God out there." His father laughed. "That's high praise." I wish you could have been there in person. Me too, son, but you know I can't always make it to Boston. I know, I miss you guys. We miss you too. When are you coming home? Soon, Michael promised, real soon. But soon never came. The next season, Michael exploded. He averaged 37 points per game. He won the slam dunk contest. Kids everywhere tried to jump like Mike, stick their tongues out like Mike, be like Mike. But while Michael was becoming a global icon, his family was drifting further away. His brother James was trying to build his own basketball career. He played at a small college, then tried to make it professionally. But everywhere he went, people compared him to Michael. You're Michael Jordan's brother. Why aren't you as good as him? James never said it bothered him, but Michael could tell. Their phone calls got awkward. How's basketball going? Michael would ask. Fine, James would say shortly. You need anything, I can make some calls, get you tryouts. I don't need your help, Michael. I can do this myself. I'm just trying to help. I know, but it's hard enough being compared to you. I don't need you fixing everything too. Michael backed off after that, but the distance between them grew. Larry had his own struggles. He worked at a furniture store in Wilmington, made decent money, had a family, but he never talked to Michael about his problems. One day, Michael found out from his mother that Larry was having trouble paying his mortgage. Why didn't he tell me? Michael asked. I could help. He doesn't want your money, Michael, his mother said. He wants his brother. He wants you to call just to talk, not to fix things, just to care. I do care. Then show it, come home, spend time with us. Not 2 hours between flights, real time. Michael looked at his calendar. It was packed. Practice, games, endorsement shoots, interviews, charity events. When was their time? After the season, he promised. I'll come home after the season. But after the season came training for next season. Then the cycle started again. Christmas 1987. Michael had a Nike photo shoot scheduled for December 26th. Important shoot. Big campaign, couldn't miss it. He called home on Christmas Day. The family was all there together. He could hear everyone in the background, laughing, talking, the TV playing, kids running around. Merry Christmas, his mother said cheerfully. Merry Christmas, Mom. I'm sorry I couldn't make it. We understand, work is work. But he could hear the disappointment underneath her words. Is everyone there? Everyone except you. She didn't say it mean, just honest, and somehow that hurt worse. Let me talk to Dad. His father got on the phone. Hey, superstar, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Dad. How are you? Good, missing you though. House feels empty without you. I miss you too. I promise I'll come soon. You always say that. I mean it this time. His father sighed. I hope so, Michael, I really do. They talked for a few more minutes. Then Michael had to go, another call, another obligation. He hung up and sat alone in his Chicago house. Outside, snow was falling. Inside, everything was quiet. He thought about his family all together in Wilmington, eating his mother's cooking, playing games, being a family. For a moment, he wanted to get in his car and drive there, surprise them, show up and stay for days. But then his phone rang, his agent confirming tomorrow's shoot. The moment passed. By 1989, Michael Jordan was the biggest star in sports. He was engaged to Juanita, planning a wedding, building a life. The wedding was in September at the Little White Chapel in Las Vegas. Small ceremony, mostly Michael's teammates and business associates. His family came, of course. They sat in the third and fourth rows, not the front. The front was for Michael's Bulls teammates and Nike executives. His mother wore a beautiful dress. His father wore his best suit. But they looked uncomfortable, out of place. At the reception, Michael was pulled in every direction. Teammates wanting pictures, executives wanting to talk business, reporters asking questions. He barely spent 10 minutes with his own family. Larry was supposed to give a speech. Michael had asked him months ago, but when the time came, Larry said he didn't prepare anything. Just say a few words, Michael urged. Come on. Larry shook his head. I wouldn't know what to say. Anything? A funny story from when we were kids. Those stories are from a long time ago, Michael, when you were different. The words hung in the air. Michael wanted to argue, but the wedding coordinator pulled him away for another photo. When Michael looked back, Larry was gone. Later that night, after most guests left, Michael's father found him on the hotel balcony. Michael was still in his tuxedo looking out at the Las Vegas lights. "Beautiful wedding," his father said. "Thanks for coming, Dad." They stood in silence for a moment. Then his father spoke quietly. "You remember what I told you that night before you left for college? You told me a lot of things. I told you not to forget where you came from, not to forget us." Michael's chest tightened. "I haven't forgotten." His father turned to look at him. "Really look at him, haven't you?" "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I barely recognize you anymore, son. You're so busy being Michael Jordan that you've forgotten how to be just Michael, our Michael." "That's not fair, Dad. I'm working hard, building a career, making money so all of you never have to worry." "We don't need money, Michael. We need you." His father's voice cracked. "I need my son, not the superstar, not the endorsement deals. Just my boy who used to sit with me on the back steps and talk about life." Michael felt tears burning behind his eyes. "I'm still that person." His father put his hand on Michael's shoulder. "Then prove it. Come home, not for a photo opportunity, not for a quick visit, really come home." "I will after the season." His father dropped his hand. His eyes looked sad. "You always say that, but you never do." Walked back inside, leaving Michael alone on the balcony. Michael stood there for a long time. The lights of Las Vegas sparkled below. Everything looked beautiful from up there. Bright, exciting, perfect. But inside, Michael felt something breaking, something important, something he didn't know how to fix. He told himself his father was wrong. He hadn't changed. He was just successful. That's what they always wanted for him, right? But deep down, in a place he tried not to look, Michael knew the truth. His father was right. He had forgotten, and he didn't know how to remember. June 1991, Chicago Stadium. Game 5 of the NBA Finals, Bulls versus Lakers. Michael stood at the free throw line, sweat dripped down his face. His heart pounded. The crowd roared so loud he could barely hear himself think. The Bulls were winning. They were about to win it all. Michael's first championship. He made both free throws. The buzzer sounded. Confetti fell from the ceiling. His teammates rushed him, screaming and hugging. Michael had dreamed of this moment his whole life. Every practice, every game, every sacrifice, it was all for this. But when the celebration started, Michael didn't jump up and down. He didn't pump his fist. Instead, he fell to the locker room floor and cried. He clutched the championship trophy against his chest and sobbed, big, gulping sobs that shook his whole body. His teammates stood around him, confused. Happy, confused, but still confused. "You okay, man?" Scottie Pippen asked. Michael couldn't speak. He just cried harder. What nobody understood was that Michael wasn't crying from happiness. Not just happiness anyway. He was crying because at the moment he achieved his biggest dream, all he wanted was his father. He wanted his dad to walk into that locker room, to hug him, to say, "I'm proud of you, son." His father was there somewhere in the stadium. Michael knew that. But in that moment, with thousands of people around him, Michael felt completely alone. Later, after the interviews and photos, Michael finally found his family. They were waiting in a special area for families. His father walked up first. He had tears in his eyes too. "You did it," his father said, pulling Michael into a tight hug. "We did it, Dad. This is for you, for all of you." His mother hugged him next, then his brothers, then Rosalind. They all congratulated him, told him how proud they were, but something felt off. The hugs were quick. The smiles seemed forced. They left after 30 minutes because they had to drive back to the hotel. "You're not staying for the party?" Michael asked. "We weren't invited to the party," Larry said. "That's for players and VIPs." "You are VIPs. You're my family." "Not according to your people," Larry said, not mean, just honest. Michael's agent had organized the championship party. He didn't think to tell him to invite Michael's family, and Michael didn't think to ask. "I'll get you in," Michael said. "Just wait." "It's okay," his father said. "It's late. We should get back anyway." "But..." "Congratulations, Michael. Really, we're proud of you." His father squeezed his shoulder once, then walked away. Michael stood there watching his family leave. The celebration continued around him. Music, champagne, people taking pictures, but all Michael could see was his family's backs as they walked out the door. The next year, 1992, the Bulls won again. Second championship. This time, Michael expected to feel complete, but he didn't. Something was still missing. Family came to the finals again, but they sat further back this time. Tickets were harder to get. More corporate sponsors wanted seats. Michael's agent said his family understood, but did they? Michael didn't ask. After the game, there was another party, this one even bigger, celebrities everywhere. His family came for 20 minutes, then left. "You're leaving already?" Michael asked his mother. "We don't fit in here, baby," she said quietly. "All these fancy people, it's not our world." "It's my world. You're part of my world." His mother touched his face gently. "Are we though, really?" Before Michael could answer, someone called his name. A photographer wanted a picture with some Hollywood actors. "Hold on, Mom, just 1 second." But when he turned back, she was gone. The 1992-93 season was the hardest yet. Not because of basketball. Basketball was easy. The Bulls were dominant. Michael was at the peak of his powers. No, it was hard because of everything else. The media started writing stories about Michael's gambling. He liked to play cards, bet on golf games, visit casinos in Atlantic City. It wasn't illegal. It wasn't even that much money for someone making millions. But the stories made it sound bad, made it sound like Michael had a problem. His father called him about it. "Son, these stories in the paper about the gambling. It's not a big deal, Dad. Just the media making things up." "Is it though? I remember you went to Atlantic City before a playoff game. That's true, isn't it?" Michael hesitated. "Yeah, but it was just to relax." "Michael, be honest with me. Do you have a problem?" "No, Dad, I swear, it's under control." But that wasn't completely true. Michael did gamble more than he should, used it to escape the pressure, the expectations, the loneliness. His father didn't push it, but Michael could hear the worry in his voice. "Just be careful, okay? This life you're living, it can swallow you up if you're not careful." "I'm fine, Dad. Don't worry about me." "I'm your father. I'll always worry." That was the last real conversation they had. 3 weeks later, his father was dead. July 23, 1993. Michael was in Chicago. The phone rang at 3 a.m. Those calls are never good news. It was his mother. She could barely speak through the tears. "Your father. Someone killed your father." The words didn't make sense. Michael made her repeat it 3 times before he understood. His father had been driving back from a funeral. He pulled over on Highway 74 near Lumberton, North Carolina to take a nap. 2 young men saw the car, a red Lexus, expensive. They approached, asked for money. James Jordan Sr. tried to resist. They shot him, took his car, left his body. The police found him days later. Michael had to identify the body. Michael got in his car and drove straight to Wilmington. Didn't pack a bag. Didn't tell anyone, just drove. 800 miles through the night. He cried the whole way, screamed, hit the steering wheel until his hands hurt. His father was gone. The man who taught him everything, who believed in him first, who warned him not to forget what mattered. And Michael had forgotten. He knew that now. Too late, but he knew. When he arrived at the family house in Wilmington, it was morning. Cars filled the driveway and lined the street. People were already there. Neighbors, friends, family. Michael walked through the front door. Everyone stopped talking. They stared at him. His mother sat on the couch, surrounded by people. When she saw Michael, fresh tears streamed down her face. He went to her, hugged her. She held him tight, but it felt different than before. Distant somehow. His siblings were there too. Larry sat in a chair in the corner, staring at nothing. Rosalind was in the kitchen with other women preparing food. James stood by the window, arms crossed. Michael walked over to Larry. "I'm so sorry," he said. Larry looked up at him. His eyes were red and swollen. "Where were you, Michael?" "What? Where were you?" Larry's voice got louder. "When was the last time you actually talked to Dad? Really talked to him?" Michael stepped back. "I talk to him all the time." "No," Larry stood up. "You called him on holidays, 5-minute conversations. Then you had to go, always had to go." Other people in the room were watching now. Michael felt his face get hot. "That's not fair. I was busy." "We know," Larry's voice cracked. "We all know how busy you are, Michael. The whole world knows, but Dad needed you. He wanted to see you, to spend time with you, not your money, not tickets to games, just you." Michael's throat tightened. "I was building my career for us, for the family." Rosalind walked in from the kitchen. Her eyes were fierce. "We didn't ask you to do that. We just wanted our brother, but you were too important for us, too famous." "That's not true," Michael said, but his voice was weak. "Isn't it?" James spoke for the first time. "When's the last time you came to Wilmington?" really came not just for a few hours between flights. Michael tried to remember. Christmas 2 years ago. No, he missed that one. Thanksgiving before that. He left early for a Nike shoot. He couldn't remember, and that realization hit him like a punch to the gut. He asked about you all the time, his mother said softly. Everyone turned to listen. Every phone call. Have you talked to Michael? Is he doing okay? Does he seem happy? I kept telling him you were fine, you were just busy. She wiped her eyes with a tissue. But he knew, Michael. He knew we were losing you, that you were drifting away. It broke his heart. Michael felt like he couldn't breathe. The room was spinning. I didn't mean I never wanted. It doesn't matter what you meant, Larry said. What matters is what you did or didn't do. Michael looked around the room at all these faces. Neighbors who used to watch him play basketball in the driveway, his mother's friends from church, family members who cheered for him at every high school game. They all looked at him differently now, not with admiration, with something else. Disappointment, maybe even anger. He was Michael Jordan, 6-time All-Star, 2-time champion, the most famous athlete in the world. But to them in that moment, he was just the son who wasn't there. The brother who forgot, the boy who left and never really came back. I need some air, Michael said. He walked out the back door into the yard. The basketball hoop was still there, rusty now, the net torn and faded. The concrete cracked even more than before. Michael stood there looking at it. This was where it all started, where he learned to play, where he and Larry went one-on-one until dark, where his father sat on the back steps and watched, giving advice, sharing wisdom, where his father told him not to forget. Michael sat down on those back steps. He put his head in his hands. He had everything he ever wanted: fame, money, championships. But he lost the only things that truly mattered. And now his father was gone. Gone before Michael could make it right, before he could come home, before he could say, "You were right, Dad, I forgot, but I'm here now." Too late, always too late. Michael cried alone in that backyard, the same backyard where he used to be happy, used to be just a kid with a dream and a family who loved him. That kid was gone, and Michael didn't know if he could ever get him back. The funeral was on a hot August day in Wilmington. Hundreds of people came to pay their respects. James Jordan SR was loved by everyone who knew him. He was kind, helpful, always had a smile and a word of encouragement. Michael sat in the front row of the church between his mother and Juanita. He wore a black suit and dark sunglasses to hide his red, swollen eyes. The pastor talked about James Jordan's life, his work ethic, his dedication to family, his faith in God, his love for his children. Every word felt like a knife in Michael's chest. After the service, people lined up to view the body one last time. Michael waited until everyone else went first. He couldn't face it. Couldn't accept that his father was really gone. Finally, his mother touched his arm. "It's time, baby." Michael stood up slowly. His legs felt weak. He walked to the front of the church where the casket sat, surrounded by flowers. He looked down at his father's face, so peaceful, like he was sleeping. Michael noticed something. A piece of paper was tucked into the breast pocket of his father's suit, just a corner of it showing. Without thinking, Michael reached out and took it. Nobody noticed. They were all crying, caught up in their own grief. Michael slipped the paper into his own pocket. He would look at it later. When he was alone, they buried James Jordan SR in the family plot at Rockfish AME Church Cemetery. The sun beat down on everyone gathered around the grave. Michael stood apart from his siblings, not because he wanted to, but because they stood together, leaving no space for him. After the burial, people came back to the house. There was food everywhere. His mother's friends had cooked for days: fried chicken, potato salad, green beans, sweet tea, all the foods his father loved. Michael couldn't eat. He sat in a corner and watched his family interact with everyone else. They laughed at old stories, cried together, hugged, but nobody came to talk to Michael. He was invisible. Even surrounded by people, he was completely alone. Around sunset, most people left. Only family remained. Michael's mother went upstairs to lie down. She was exhausted from grief. Michael's siblings sat in the living room. They talked quietly among themselves. Michael walked in. "Can we talk?" Larry looked up. "About what?" "About Dad, about us, about everything." James shook his head. "Not now, Michael, we're tired." "But we need to." "What we need," Rosalind interrupted, "is for you to understand that you can't fix this with money or apologies. You weren't here when it mattered. That's the truth." Michael felt anger rising in his chest. "I'm here now. Doesn't that count for something?" You're here because you have to be, Larry said. Not because you want to be. There's a difference. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, Michael. You should know that by now. Michael wanted to argue more, but he saw it was pointless. They had already made up their minds about him. He went upstairs to his old bedroom. It looked exactly the same as when he left for college, posters on the walls, trophies on the shelves. The bed he used to share with Larry. He lay down and stared at the ceiling. Then he remembered the paper from his father's pocket. He pulled it out carefully. It was folded into a small square. His hand shook as he opened it. The handwriting was his father's, shaky but recognizable. The letter was short, just 3 sentences, but they changed everything. Son, I'm proud of you, but I'm worried you're losing something more important than any championship. Please don't forget what truly matters. Michael read it over and over. His father had written this before he died, maybe days before, maybe hours. His father knew that Michael was drifting away, knew that the family was falling apart, knew that success was costing Michael everything that mattered. And he tried to warn him one last time, but Michael never got the message. Not until now. Not until it was too late. Michael clutched the letter to his chest and cried, deep, painful sobs that came from a place he didn't know existed. His father had tried to save him, to pull him back before he lost everything, but Michael was too blind to see it, too busy to listen, too important to care. Now his father was gone, and Michael had to live with that regret for the rest of his life. The next morning, Michael went downstairs early. His mother was already in the kitchen making coffee. "Morning, Mom." She looked up, her eyes were swollen and tired. "Morning, baby. Can we talk?" She nodded and sat down at the kitchen table. Michael sat across from her. "I found this in Dad's pocket." He showed her the letter. His mother read it. Fresh tears rolled down her cheeks. "He wrote that the night before he died. I saw him working on it. He said he was going to mail it to you." Michael's voice broke. "I'm so sorry, Mom, for everything, for not being here, for forgetting what mattered." His mother reached across the table and took his hand. "Your father forgave you before he died. He told me so. He said, 'Michael's just trying to make us proud. He'll find his way back eventually.' But what about you? Can you forgive me?" His mother squeezed his hand. "I'm your mother. I'll always love you. But forgiveness takes time, Michael, and trust takes even longer to rebuild." "How much time?" "I don't know, as much as it takes." Michael nodded. He understood. He had broken something precious. It wouldn't heal overnight. Over the next few days, Michael stayed in Wilmington. He helped his mother with paperwork, made phone calls to insurance companies, handled all the details that come after someone dies. His siblings watched him with suspicious eyes, like they expected him to leave any moment. But Michael stayed. One afternoon, Larry found him sitting on the back steps looking at the old basketball hoop. "Remember when you couldn't beat me?" Larry asked, sitting down beside him. "I remember. You were so much better than me back then. And you got so mad about it." Michael laughed a little. "I hated losing, still do." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Larry spoke quietly. "I'm sorry about what I said at the house after Dad died. That was harsh." "It was true, though." "True, but harsh. I was angry, we all were, but taking it out on you wasn't right." Michael shook his head. "You had every right to be angry. I deserved it." "Maybe, but Dad wouldn't have wanted us fighting. Not now." "What did he want?" Larry thought about it. "He wanted us to be a family again, like we used to be, before everything got complicated." "Is that possible?" "I don't know, Michael, is it?" Michael didn't have an answer. A week after the funeral, Michael had to go back to Chicago. Training camp was starting. The season was coming. But for the first time in his life, basketball didn't matter. Nothing mattered except the hole inside him where his father used to be. He called his agent from Wilmington. "I need to tell you something." "What's up?" "I'm thinking about retiring." Silence on the other end. "Then what? Are you serious?" "I can't do this anymore. Basketball, the pressure, all of it, I need a break." "Michael, you're 30 years old. You're at the peak of your career. You just won 3 championships. You can't retire now." "Watch me." Michael hung up. That night, he told his mother his decision. "I'm going to retire from basketball." She looked at him carefully. "Are you sure?" No, but I need to do it anyway. I need time to figure out who I am without basketball, to deal with losing Dad, to fix things with the family. His mother nodded slowly. Your father would understand. Would he be disappointed? He'd be proud that you're choosing what matters most. But his siblings didn't understand. You're retiring? James asked, just like that. Yeah. That's crazy, Michael. You're the best player in the world. I don't care about being the best anymore. I care about being here, being present. Rosalind crossed her arms. For how long, though? Until you get bored, until you miss the spotlight. Her words stung because part of Michael wondered the same thing. I don't know, he admitted, but I have to try. On October 6, 1993, Michael held a press conference. Reporters from around the world gathered in Chicago. I'm retiring from professional basketball, Michael announced. The room exploded with questions, everyone shouting at once. Why now? Is this because of your father? Will you ever come back? Michael answered some questions, dodged others, but he didn't tell them the real reason. The real reason was that he looked in the mirror and didn't recognize himself anymore. The real reason was that his father died before Michael could make things right. The real reason was that he achieved every basketball dream but lost everything else in the process. But he couldn't say that on TV. So he gave vague answers about wanting to spend time with family, about being emotionally drained, about needing a new challenge. The sports world went crazy. Nobody understood. How could the best player in the world just walk away? His family watched the press conference on TV in Wilmington. Rosalind told a reporter who called asking for a comment, maybe now he'll remember where he came from. The quote went everywhere, ESPN, Sports Illustrated, every newspaper in America. Michael saw it on the news that night. He called Rosalind immediately. Why did you say that to a reporter? Because it's true, Rosalind said. You forgot about us, Michael. Maybe this retirement will help you remember. I never forgot you. Really? When's the last time you came to visit me, to meet my kids, to just be my brother? Michael couldn't answer because he couldn't remember. That's what I thought, Rosalind said, then she hung up. Michael stood alone in his house holding the phone. Outside, reporters camped on his lawn. They wanted more interviews, more explanations. But inside, Michael was drowning in grief, in regret, in the terrible understanding that he had everything and nothing at the same time. He pulled out his father's letter again. Read those 3 sentences for the 100th time. Please don't forget what truly matters. But he had forgotten, and now his father was gone. His family was fractured, and Michael was more alone than he'd ever been in his life. He had 3 championship rings sitting in a display case. They sparkled under the lights, beautiful, perfect, meaningless, because the one person he wanted to share them with was gone forever, and the family he wanted to celebrate with barely spoke to him anymore. Michael realized something terrible that night, something that would haunt him for years. His father's death didn't break their family. Michael's choices did. Long before that highway in North Carolina, long before the funeral, long before the angry words in the living room, Michael had been breaking his family for years, one missed dinner at a time, one short phone call at a time, one broken promise at a time, and now he had to live with that truth. Now he had to figure out if it was possible to put back together something he spent years tearing apart. February 1994. Sarasota, Florida, Michael stood in the outfield at the Chicago White Sox spring training facility. The sun beat down on him, sweat dripped into his eyes. He wore a baseball uniform, number 45, his father's favorite number. The pitcher threw. Michael ran for the ball. He misjudged it. The ball sailed over his head and hit the fence. Come on, Jordan, someone yelled from the dugout. Michael picked up the ball and threw it back. His arm hurt. His legs were tired. Baseball was harder than he thought. When he announced he was playing baseball, everyone thought he was crazy. Basketball fans were angry. Baseball fans were confused. His family just shook their heads. Why baseball? His mother asked when he told her. Dad always wanted me to play baseball. Remember, when I was little, he thought that would be my sport. That was a long time ago, Michael. I know, but I need to do this for him, to feel close to him somehow. His mother didn't argue. She just said, be careful, baby. You're chasing a ghost. Maybe she was right, but Michael didn't know what else to do. Basketball felt wrong now. Every time he stepped on a court, he remembered his father wasn't there to watch, would never be there again. So he chose baseball, a sport where nobody expected anything, where he could fail without the whole world watching, where he could just be Michael Jordan, minor league baseball player, not Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player alive. The White Sox assigned him to the Birmingham Barons, a Double-A team in Alabama. Minor league baseball, small stadiums, long bus rides, cheap hotels. It was about as far from NBA stardom as Michael could get. He rented an apartment in Birmingham, nothing fancy, just a regular place with regular furniture. No trophy room, no fancy cars, just him and his baseball gear. For the first time in years, Michael could walk around without being mobbed. Baseball fans in Birmingham knew who he was, but they didn't worship him like basketball fans did. Some even resented him being there. "He's taking a spot from a real baseball player," Michael heard someone say at practice. It hurt, but it also felt honest. These people didn't care about his NBA championships. Here, he had to prove himself all over again, and he was terrible. In his first month, Michael batted 170. He struck out constantly. Couldn't hit a curveball to save his life, made errors in the outfield. He was the worst player on the team. Sports writers mocked him. Jordan should stick to basketball. Michael's baseball dream is a nightmare. The criticism was brutal, but Michael kept showing up, kept practicing, kept trying, because quitting would mean going back to his old life, and he couldn't face that yet. Every Sunday, Michael called his mother. "How are you doing?" she would ask. "Good, busy. Baseball is harder than I thought." "Are you eating enough, getting rest?" "Yes, Mom." There would be a pause, then she'd say, "Everyone here is doing fine. Larry's daughter had her first birthday. Rosalind got a promotion at work. James is coaching a youth basketball team." Michael noticed she always told him what was happening but never invited him to be part of it. "That's great," he'd say. "Tell them congratulations." "You could tell them yourself." "I know I will soon." But he didn't call them, and they didn't call him. The distance between them felt like the Grand Canyon now, too wide to cross, too deep to climb out of. One night after a particularly bad game, Michael sat alone in his apartment. He'd gone 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. The crowd had booed him. He stared at his phone, wanted to call someone. Anyone, but who? His teammates were nice enough, but they didn't really know him. They saw Michael Jordan, the celebrity, trying to play baseball. Not Michael, the person. His basketball friends didn't understand why he was doing this. They thought he was wasting his talent, and his family. They were still hurt, still angry, still keeping their distance. Michael had never felt so alone in his entire life. He picked up a picture he kept on his nightstand. It showed him and his father at a Bulls game, both of them smiling, his father's arm around his shoulders. "I'm trying, Dad," Michael whispered to the photo. "I'm trying to do what you wanted. To figure out what matters, but I don't know how." The photo didn't answer. It never did. Michael's marriage was suffering too. Juanita stayed in Chicago with their young sons, Jeffrey and Marcus. She visited sometimes, but the trips were awkward. "Why are you doing this?" she asked during one visit. "This baseball thing, it's not making you happy." "It's not about being happy. It's about, I don't know, finding something." "Finding what?" "Myself, maybe, who I am without basketball." Juanita sighed. "You're running, Michael, from your grief, from your guilt about your father, from your family. Baseball isn't going to fix any of that." "What will then?" "Facing it, actually dealing with it instead of hiding in Alabama." Michael knew she was right, but facing it meant admitting he'd failed, admitting he couldn't fix everything, admitting that some things, once broken, might stay broken forever. That was too hard, so he kept playing baseball. By June, Michael's batting average had improved slightly. He was hitting .202 now, still terrible by baseball standards, but better than before. The Birmingham Barons played in small stadiums across the South. Sometimes only a few hundred people came to watch. It was nothing like the NBA, where every game sold out. Michael liked the quiet somehow, liked being just another player on a struggling team, but the loneliness ate at him. After games, his teammates would go out together, get dinner, have a few beers, talk about their lives. Michael was always invited. He always made excuses. "I'm tired. I have to call my wife. I need to work on my swing." Really, he was afraid afraid of getting close to people, afraid of letting them see the real him, afraid they wouldn't like what they saw. One day, his mother called with news. Larry's having another baby, a boy this time. That's wonderful. The baby's due in September. Larry wanted me to tell you. Why didn't he tell me himself? His mother was quiet for a moment. Because you two barely talk anymore, Michael. When's the last time you called him? Michael couldn't remember. Exactly, his mother said. You retired from basketball to spend time with family, but you're in Alabama playing baseball. How is that spending time with us? I need to do this, Mom, for Dad. Your father is gone, baby. We're still here, but we won't wait forever. She hung up before Michael could respond. He sat on his couch holding the phone. Outside his window, the sun was setting over Birmingham. The sky turned orange and purple. Michael thought about his family back in North Carolina, going on with their lives, having babies, getting promotions, coaching basketball, all without him. He was missing everything, again, just like before, but somehow it felt different now. Before, he missed things because he was too busy, too important, too focused on his career. Now he was missing things because he was too scared, too broken, too lost to find his way back. In July, Michael's team had a game in Charlotte, North Carolina, only 3 hours from Wilmington. Michael thought about driving home after the game, surprising his family, showing up at the door and saying, "I'm here, I'm sorry, can we talk?" But when the game ended, Michael got on the bus with his teammates, went back to Birmingham, went back to his empty apartment. Because what if he showed up and they rejected him? What if they said it was too late? What if his mother looked at him with those sad eyes and said, "We don't know you anymore"? Michael couldn't handle that, so he stayed away. By August, the baseball season was almost over. Michael's final batting average would be 202. Not good, but he'd improved. He'd worked hard. He'd proved something to himself, even if he wasn't sure what. One night, his manager called him into his office. "Jordan, sit down." Michael sat. "You've worked hard this season, I respect that. But let me be honest with you, you're not going to make it to the major leagues." The words hurt, even though Michael already knew them. You're 31 years old. You started playing baseball way too late. You're athletic as hell, but that's not enough. I know. So what are you going to do? Keep playing or go back to basketball? Michael didn't answer right away. He thought about it, really thought about it. I don't know, he finally said. His manager leaned back in his chair. Can I tell you something, man to man? Michael nodded. I think you're hiding, I don't know from what. Maybe from pressure, maybe from grief. But you can't hide forever. Eventually, you have to face whatever you're running from. Michael felt his throat tighten. What if I face it and I can't fix it? Then at least you tried. That's better than wondering for the rest of your life. That night, Michael couldn't sleep. He lay in bed thinking about everything. His father, his family, his career, his life. He'd spent a year playing baseball, a year running from his problems, a year hoping that somehow distance and time would heal everything, but nothing was healed. If anything, things were worse. He barely talked to his siblings now. His mother's voice on the phone sounded more distant every week. His marriage was hanging by a thread. His sons were growing up without him around. He was achieving nothing except proving he could fail at baseball just like he'd failed at being a good son, brother, and father. The next morning, Michael called his mother. I'm coming home, he said, for a visit. No, I mean really coming home. I'm done with baseball. Are you going back to basketball? I don't know yet, but I need to see you, see everyone, try to fix this mess I made. His mother was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, we'll be here. 2 days later, Michael packed his car and drove from Birmingham to Wilmington, 7 hours through Georgia and South Carolina. The whole drive, his stomach churned with nervousness. What would he say? How would he start? Would they even listen? He pulled up to his mother's house in Wilmington around dinner time. Several cars were in the driveway. His siblings were there. It was Sunday, family dinner night. The tradition had continued without him. Michael sat in his car for 15 minutes building courage. He could see them through the window, sitting around the table, passing food, talking, laughing. They looked happy, like a family he wasn't part of anymore. Michael almost started the car and drove away, back to Birmingham, back to his safe, lonely existence. But then he remembered his father's letter. Please don't forget what truly matters. This mattered, they mattered, more than baseball, more than basketball, more than championships or fame or anything else. Michael got out of the car, walked to the front door. His hand shook as he knocked. The door opened. Larry stood there, plate in hand. Michael. "Hey Larry, can I come in?" Larry stared at him for a long moment, then he stepped aside. "Yeah, come in." Michael walked into the house where he grew up, where everything started, where he needed to begin again. Michael stepped into the living room. Everyone stopped talking. His mother sat at the head of the table. Rosalind was next to her. James and his wife were across from them. Larry's wife held their new baby. Kids ran around the room playing. They all stared at Michael like he was a stranger. "Hi," Michael said quietly. His voice sounded small in the silence. His mother stood up first. "Michael, we didn't know you were coming." "I'm sorry, I should have called. I needed to see you all." Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The moment stretched out forever. Finally, his mother gestured to an empty chair. "Sit down. I'll get you a plate." "You don't have to." "Sit, Michael." He sat. His mother went to the kitchen. The others slowly started eating again, but the comfortable mood was gone. Larry's baby started crying. His wife bounced him gently. "SHH, it's okay, Marcus." "Marcus," Michael said. "That's my son's name too." "We know," Larry said flatly. "We named him after Dad's middle name, not after your kid." The words stung, but Michael understood. They were drawing lines, showing him that their lives continued without him. His mother returned with a plate of food: fried chicken, collard greens, cornbread, all the foods from his childhood. Michael looked down at it. His eyes got hot with tears. He hadn't eaten his mother's cooking in over a year. "Thank you, Mom." She nodded and sat back down. Everyone ate in awkward silence, forks scraping plates, kids whispering, but no real conversation. Finally, Michael couldn't take it anymore. "I know I messed up," he said. Everyone looked at him. "I know I haven't been there. I know I let all of you down, but I'm here now. I want to fix this." "Fix what?" Rosalind asked. Her voice wasn't angry, just tired. "You can't fix the past, Michael. You can't fix Dad being gone. You can't fix all the birthdays you missed, all the times we needed you and you weren't there." "I know, but I can try to be better starting now." James shook his head. "We've heard this before. You said it at Dad's funeral, then you disappeared to play baseball." "That was different. I needed time to." "To what?" James interrupted. "To figure yourself out. While we were here dealing with Mom's grief, while Larry was struggling to pay his bills, while Rosalind's son was asking why Uncle Michael never visits." Each word was like a knife, but Michael deserved it. He knew that. "You're right," Michael said. "I was selfish. I was thinking about myself, about my pain. I didn't think about what you all were going through." "That's the problem, Michael," his mother said softly. "You never think about us. Not really. You think about how to help us with money, how to give us things, but you never just think about being with us." Michael's throat tightened. "I'm sorry, Mom, I'm so sorry." She looked at him with sad eyes. "Your father forgave you before he died. He told me that. He said, Michael will find his way back. He just needs time." "Did he really say that?" "Yes, but I need time too, baby. We all do. You hurt us. Not on purpose, but you did. And that hurt doesn't go away just because you show up one night for dinner." Michael nodded. He understood. He couldn't expect them to forgive him immediately. He had to earn it back. "What can I do?" he asked. "Tell me what to do and I'll do it." Larry spoke up. "It's not about doing things, Michael. It's about showing up, consistently, not once, not when it's convenient, but really being present." "I will, I promise." "You've promised before." "This time is different." "Why?" Rosalind asked. "What makes this time different?" Michael thought about it. Why was this time different? What had changed? "Because I finally understand what Dad was trying to tell me, about not forgetting what matters. I thought he meant remember where I came from. Remember I was poor once. Stay humble." He paused, gathering his thoughts. But that's not what he meant. He meant don't forget that family is more important than anything, more important than championships, more important than being the best, more important than proving yourself to the world. His voice cracked. "I forgot that. For years I forgot. And now Dad's gone and I can't tell him I finally understand. but I can show you. I can prove that I get it now." The room was quiet. Even the kids had stopped playing and were listening. His mother reached across the table and took his hand. "Then show us, Michael. Don't tell us, show us." "I will, starting tonight. I'm not leaving. I'm staying in Wilmington for a while." "What about baseball?" James asked. "I'm done with baseball. It was a mistake. I was running from my problems instead of facing them." "What about basketball?" Rosalind asked. "I don't know yet. Maybe I'll go back eventually. Maybe not. Right now, basketball doesn't matter. You matter." Larry looked skeptical. "For how long, though? A week? A month? Then you get bored and leave again." "As long as it takes. As long as you need me here." Nobody responded. They didn't believe him yet, and Michael didn't blame them. After dinner, Michael helped his mother clean up. The others left one by one. They said goodbye but didn't hug him, didn't invite him to their homes. Baby steps, Michael told himself. When everyone was gone, Michael sat with his mother in the living room. "Can I stay here in my old room?" he asked. "That room is full of storage now, but you can stay in the guest room." "Thank you." They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then his mother spoke. "You know what hurt the most?" Michael looked at her. "What?" "When your father was in the hospital after they found him, before he died, he kept asking for you. The doctors said he was barely conscious, but he kept saying your name. 'Michael, where's Michael?'" Michael felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. "I didn't know. Nobody told me." "Because by the time they told us he was in the hospital, he was already gone. But I think about that. Your father's last thoughts were of you, wanting to see you one more time, and you weren't there." Tears streamed down Michael's face. "Mom, please. I'm not saying this to hurt you. I'm saying it so you understand, so you know what you missed, what we all missed when you were too busy for us." "How do I fix it?" "You can't fix it, Michael. You can only do better going forward." Michael nodded. His heart felt like it was breaking, but he needed to hear this, needed to understand the depth of what he'd lost. That night, Michael lay in the guest room staring at the ceiling. The house was quiet. Through the walls, he could hear his mother moving around in her room. She was probably looking at photos of his father. She did that every night, she once told him. Michael thought about all the nights he spent in fancy hotels, big empty houses, places that cost thousands of dollars but felt like nothing. And here in this small guest room in Wilmington, he felt more at home than he had in years. The next morning, Michael got up early. He made coffee, started breakfast. When his mother came downstairs, she looked surprised. "You're cooking." "Trying to. I'm not as good as you." She smiled a little, first real smile she'd given him. "Let me help." They cooked together, eggs, bacon, toast, just like old times. "What are your plans today?" she asked. "I thought I'd go see Larry if that's okay." "You don't need my permission, Michael." "I know, but I want to do this right." After breakfast, Michael drove to Larry's house. It was a small place in a working-class neighborhood. The yard needed mowing. Paint was peeling on the shutters. Michael realized Larry was struggling more than he thought. He knocked on the door. Larry answered, looking surprised. "Michael, what are you doing here?" "Can we talk?" Larry hesitated, then stepped aside. "Come in." The house was cluttered with toys, kids' drawings on the refrigerator, a TV playing cartoons in the living room. Larry's wife came out holding the baby. "Michael, hi." "Hi, Jennifer. I'm sorry for dropping by unannounced." "It's fine. Do you want coffee?" "No, thanks. I just wanted to talk to Larry for a minute." Jennifer nodded and took the baby into another room. Michael and Larry sat in the living room. An awkward silence filled the space between them. "Nice house," Michael said. "It's small, but it's ours." "Larry, I know things have been hard, financially. Why didn't you tell me?" Larry's jaw tightened. "Because I don't want your money, Michael. I want my brother. There's a difference." "I know, and I'm here now, not to give you money, just to be here, to talk, to be brothers again." Larry looked at him for a long time. "Do you know how many times I've heard you say that? How many promises you've made?" "I know." "Then why should I believe you this time?" Michael didn't have a good answer. All he could say was, "Because I finally understand what I was doing wrong, and because I'm not leaving until you believe me. You can't stay in Wilmington forever." Why not? What's waiting for me in Chicago? An empty house, endorsement deals. None of that matters anymore. Larry shook his head. You say that now, but in a month you'll get restless. You'll miss the spotlight, you'll leave. Then give me a month. Let me prove it to you. 1 month of showing up, of being present. If after that you still don't believe me, I'll leave you alone. Larry thought about it. 1 month. 1 month. And you're staying in Wilmington the whole time. The whole time. Larry finally nodded. Okay, 1 month. But Michael, if you mess this up again, I'm done. We're done. I can't keep getting my hopes up just to have them crushed. I understand. I won't mess up. Over the next few weeks, Michael did something he hadn't done in years. He showed up. He went to Larry's house 3 times a week. Sometimes they talked. Sometimes they just watched TV together. Sometimes they played with Larry's kids. He visited Rosalind, met her children properly, learned their names, their ages, what they liked. He didn't just ask surface questions. He really listened. He went to James's youth basketball practices, sat in the bleachers and watched, gave advice when asked, stayed quiet when not. He had dinner with his mother every Sunday, helped her cook, did dishes, fixed things around the house that needed fixing. He didn't talk about basketball, didn't talk about his career, didn't make everything about him. He just showed up, week after week. At first, his siblings were skeptical. They waited for him to leave, to get bored, to remember he was Michael Jordan and didn't have time for regular family stuff. But Michael stayed. One day, about 3 weeks in, Larry invited him to a barbecue at his house. Just family, Larry said. Nothing fancy. Michael came, brought potato salad that his mother helped him make, played with the kids in the yard, helped Larry grill burgers. At one point, Larry's oldest daughter came up to Michael. She was 6 years old. Are you really my uncle? She asked. The question hit Michael hard. She didn't even know him. Yes, I'm your Uncle Michael. Why haven't we met before? Larry started to intervene, but Michael stopped him. Because I was being foolish, but I'm here now, and I'm going to make sure we spend lots of time together. Is that okay? She nodded. Can you teach me to play basketball? Michael smiled. I'd love to. Later, as the sun set, everyone sat in Larry's backyard. Michael looked around at his family, his siblings, his nieces and nephews, his mother. For the first time in years, he felt like he belonged somewhere. Larry caught his eye and nodded slightly. It wasn't forgiveness yet, but it was a start. And for Michael, that was enough. March 1995, Michael's mother's house in Wilmington. Michael woke up to his phone ringing. It was his agent, David Falk. Michael, we need to talk. About what? About basketball. The Bulls want you back. The fans want you back. Everyone's asking when you're coming back. Michael sat up in bed. He'd been in Wilmington for almost 5 months now. 5 months of family dinners. 5 months of showing up. 5 months of slowly rebuilding trust. I don't know if I'm ready, Michael said. You're ready. You're Michael Jordan. You were born ready. It's not that simple anymore. Then make it simple. Do you miss basketball? Michael thought about it. Did he miss it, the competition, the thrill of winning, the feeling of flying through the air? Yeah, he admitted. I miss it. Then come back on your terms when you're ready. After the call, Michael went downstairs. His mother was making breakfast. Who was on the phone? She asked. My agent. He wants me to come back to basketball. His mother stopped stirring the eggs. She turned to look at him. What do you want? I don't know. Part of me wants to play again, but I'm scared. Scared of what? Scared that if I go back, I'll become that person again. The one who forgot about family. The one who put basketball above everything. His mother walked over and put her hand on his cheek. You're not that person anymore, Michael. These past months have shown me that. You've changed. Have I really? Yes, you've been here, you've shown up. You've put in the work. That's not the old Michael. But what if basketball changes me back? Then that's a choice you make. Every day you choose what matters most. Basketball doesn't make you forget us. You choose to forget, or you choose to remember. Her words settled into Michael's heart. Over the next few days, Michael thought hard about it. He talked to Larry, to Rosalind, to James. What do you think? He asked Larry. Should I go back? Larry was quiet for a moment. Do you want the truth? Always. I think you should play, not because of money or fame, but because you love it. I can see it in your eyes when we watch basketball on TV. You miss it. But what about you guys? What if I mess this up again? Then you mess it up. But Michael, we can't hold you hostage here. You've shown us you've changed. You've proven you can be present. Now you have to trust yourself. Michael nodded slowly. If I go back, things will be different, I promise. I know, we'll hold you to that. On March 18, 1995, Michael released a simple two-word statement to the press. I'm back. The sports world exploded. Every TV station ran the story. Newspapers printed special editions. Fans celebrated in the streets of Chicago. Michael Jordan was returning to basketball. His family gathered at his mother's house to watch his first game back. Bulls versus Indiana Pacers at Market Square Arena in Indianapolis. Michael hadn't played in 17 months. People wondered if he'd still be great, or if he'd lost his edge. He wore number 45 instead of 23. Father's number to honor him. The game started. Michael looked rusty at first. His timing was off. His shots weren't falling. But then in the fourth quarter, something clicked. He started moving like the old Michael Jordan, driving to the basket, making impossible shots, flying through the air. He scored 19 points. The Bulls lost, but Michael showed flashes of brilliance. Back in Wilmington, his family cheered anyway. Did you see that dunk? James shouted. He still got it, Larry said, smiling. His mother had tears in her eyes. Your father would be so proud. After the game, Michael called home. His whole family was there waiting. We watched, his mother said. You were wonderful. We lost, Mom. I don't care. You looked happy out there. That's what matters. Michael smiled. I was happy, but you know what made me happier? What? Knowing you were all watching together. Knowing I can call you right now and you're there. That's better than any basketball game. Over the next few weeks, Michael found his rhythm. The rust wore off. He started playing like himself again, but this time was different. After games, he called his family. On off days, he flew to North Carolina to visit. He made sure his mother had tickets to every home game, front row, not in some corporate section, but right there where he could see her. He invited his siblings to Chicago, not for fancy parties, but for real visits. They stayed at his house, ate meals together, played with his kids. The 1995 playoffs came. The Bulls made it to the second round but lost to the Orlando Magic. Michael was devastated. He hated losing, but this time he had perspective. After the final game, his family was waiting in the tunnel. Tough loss, Larry said, hugging him. Yeah, we'll be better next year. Proud of you anyway, his mother said, and Michael believed her, not because he played well, but because he'd shown up for them and they showed up for him. That summer, Michael trained harder than ever, but he also made time for family. He went to Wilmington twice a month, attended his nephew's baseball games, his niece's dance recitals, normal family stuff. The 1995-96 season started. Michael had something to prove, not to the world, to himself. The Bulls were unstoppable. They added Dennis Rodman, had Scottie Pippen, and Michael was hungry. They won game after game. By the All-Star break, they had the best record in NBA history. Michael's family came to Chicago for a game in February. They all wore Bulls jerseys, cheered loudly. After the game, they went back to Michael's house for pizza. Remember when we couldn't afford pizza, James joked. Now we got a millionaire buying it for us, Larry laughed. Everyone laughed, but it was different now, not uncomfortable. Not forced, real laughter, real family. The season continued. The Bulls won 72 games, lost only 10, best regular season record ever. Then the playoffs. The Bulls dominated, made it to the NBA Finals against the Seattle Supersonics. June 16, 1996, Game 6, United Center in Chicago. The Bulls were up 3-2 in the series, one win away from the championship. Michael's entire family sat courtside, his mother, his siblings, his wife, his children. All of them together. The game was close, back and forth. With 2 minutes left, the Bulls pulled ahead. Michael played like a man possessed. Every shot fell, every move worked. It was like watching poetry. The final buzzer sounded. Bulls won 87-75. Fourth championship for Michael Jordan. But this time, when Michael fell to the court crying, it was different. This time, his family rushed onto the court immediately. His mother got there first. She knelt down beside him and held him. You did it, baby, she whispered. Michael couldn't speak. He just cried, big, shaking sobs. Larry and James and Rosalind surrounded them, all holding each other, all crying together. This one's for Dad, Michael finally said. This one's for all of you." "We know," Larry said, "we know." It was Father's Day, June 16th, 3 years almost to the day after his father's murder. The pain of that loss would never completely go away. But in that moment, surrounded by family, Michael felt something close to peace. Later, in the locker room, reporters asked Michael about the win. "What does this championship mean to you?" Michael looked at the camera. "Everything, but not because of basketball, because my family is here, because they forgave me, because we're together again." "Can you explain?" "I spent years chasing championships, thinking that was what mattered, but I was wrong. Family matters. Being present matters. Showing up for the people you love matters. This championship is sweet because I didn't have to sacrifice my family to get it." Reporters didn't fully understand, but Michael's family did. That night back at Michael's house, they had a private celebration. No celebrities, no sponsors, just the Jordan family. They sat around Michael's dining room table, eating, talking, laughing. Michael looked around at all of them, his mother's smile, Larry's jokes, Rosalind's kids running around, James telling stories. This was what his father meant. This was what truly mattered. "I want to say something," Michael said. Everyone got quiet. "I know I messed up. For years I put basketball first. I forgot what was important. I lost sight of who I was." He paused, gathering his emotions. "Dad's death broke me, but it also woke me up, made me realize what I was losing, and I'm grateful that you all gave me another chance, that you let me prove I could be better." "You did prove it," his mother said. "You showed us, actions, not words." "I'm going to keep showing you, every day for the rest of my life, I promise." Larry raised his glass. "To family." "To family," everyone repeated. They clinked glasses. Water for the kids, sweet tea for the adults. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive, just family together. Finally, Michael thought about his father, wished he could be here for this moment. To see that Michael finally understood the lesson he'd been trying to teach all along. Success means nothing if you're alone. Championships are empty if you have no one to share them with. And all the money in the world can't buy back time you lost with the people you love. Michael had learned that lesson the hard way, but he'd learned it, and he would never forget it again. Later that night, after everyone went to bed, Michael stood on his back porch looking at the stars. He pulled out his father's letter, the one from the funeral. He'd kept it all this time. "I did it, Dad," he whispered to the night sky. "I remembered what truly matters. I found my way back. I hope you're proud." The stars twinkled. The night was quiet, but somehow Michael felt his father's presence, felt his approval. He went back inside. His house was full of family members sleeping in guest rooms, full of life, full of love. For the first time in years, Michael went to sleep feeling complete, not because he won a championship, but because he won back his family, and that was the greatest victory of all. 2 years later, October 1997, Michael sat in his mother's house in Wilmington. She was in the kitchen making lunch. The sounds and smells were so familiar now, so comforting. He came home twice a month, every time, no excuses, no cancellations. The Bulls had won another championship in 1997, fifth ring. The media called them a dynasty, but Michael barely cared about that anymore. What he cared about was that his whole family had been there, in the stands, cheering together. His mother walked into the living room with sandwiches. "You're quiet today. What's on your mind?" "Just thinking about Dad, wondering if he can see all this, see that we're okay now." "I think he can. I feel him sometimes, especially when we're all together." Michael nodded, "Me too." They ate in comfortable silence. Then his mother got up and went to her bedroom. She came back carrying an old cardboard box. "I've been meaning to show you something," she said. "I found this last week while cleaning." She set the box on the coffee table. It was dusty, taped shut. "What is it?" "Open it and see." Michael pulled off the tape and opened the box. Inside were papers, lots of papers, folders, documents. He picked up the first folder. It had his name on it. Michael R. Jordan Foundation. "What is this?" His mother smiled. "You don't remember." Michael opened the folder. Inside were documents dated from 1994. Bank statements, canceled checks, legal papers. His heart started beating faster as he read through them. These were records of a charity foundation he'd created right after his father died, named after James Raymond Jordan, but there was more. The bank statements showed monthly payments, large payments, going back years. Michael's hands shook as he flipped through the pages. $5,000 to Larry Jordan. Every month since August 1994. $3,500 to Rosalind Jordan Henderson. Every month since August 1994. $4,000 to James Jordan Jr. Every month since August 1994. Medical bills paid for his mother. Thousands of dollars, all marked paid in full. College fund deposits for his nieces and nephews, growing steadily every month. Anonymous donations to churches in Wilmington, to youth basketball programs, to local charities, all of it done quietly, through lawyers, with strict instructions that his family never be told where the money came from. Michael looked up at his mother with tears in his eyes. "I forgot about this." "You forgot?" "I set it up right after the funeral. I was so angry at myself, so guilty. I wanted to help, but I knew you'd all reject my help, so I did it secretly." His mother's eyes were wet now too. "Michael, do you know what this means?" "What?" "When Larry was struggling with his mortgage, you were paying it. When Rosalind's daughter needed braces, you paid for them. When James wanted to get his coaching certification but couldn't afford it, you made it possible." Michael covered his face with his hands. "I didn't want credit. I didn't want you to feel like you owed me anything. I just wanted to help." "But why didn't you tell us?" "Because Dad taught me that real love doesn't keep score. He said that once, remember? Real love gives without expecting anything back. I didn't do this to earn forgiveness. I did it because you're my family." His mother sat down beside him and pulled him into a hug. "Oh, baby, all this time we thought. I know what you thought, that I abandoned you, that I only cared about myself, and in many ways you were right. But I was trying, in the only way I knew how." More papers fell from the folder. Michael picked them up. Letters, hundreds of letters, written in his own handwriting. "What are these?" his mother asked. Michael's throat tightened. "I wrote to Dad after he died every week, sometimes every day. I never sent them anywhere. I needed to talk to him." He opened one randomly and read aloud, his voice breaking. "Dear Dad, I played a game tonight. We won, but all I could think about was that you weren't there. I'm sorry I wasn't there when you needed me. I'm sorry for every missed call, every broken promise. I would give anything to have one more conversation with you, to tell you I understand now. I finally understand. Love, Michael." His mother wiped tears from her cheeks. "You kept all of these." "I couldn't throw them away. It felt like throwing away my connection to him." Another document caught Michael's eye. He pulled it out slowly. It was a trust fund, established in July 1994, made out to Daniel Green and Larry Martin Demery, the two men who killed his father. "Mom, did you know about this?" She looked at the paper and gasped. "Michael, what is this?" "After the trial, after they were convicted, I couldn't stop thinking about them. They were so young, 19 and 18. Their lives were over. They killed your father. I know, and they deserve to be punished. They are being punished, but I kept thinking about what Dad would want. He always believed people could change, could be redeemed." Michael's hands shook as he held the document. "So I set up a trust fund for their families, their mothers, their siblings, people who had nothing to do with what happened but suffered anyway. I put money away for education, for job training when they get out, for breaking the cycle of poverty that led to this." His mother stared at him in shock. "You forgave them?" "I had to, Mom. Hatred was eating me alive. Anger wasn't bringing Dad back. Forgiveness wasn't for them, it was for me, for us, so we could heal." His mother couldn't speak. She just held his face in her hands and cried. There was a knock at the door. Larry, Rosalind, and James walked in. Sunday dinner, the weekly tradition. They saw Michael and their mother crying, papers spread everywhere. "What's going on?" Larry asked, concerned. His mother wiped her eyes. "Come sit down, all of you. There's something you need to see." They gathered around the coffee table. His mother spread out the documents. Larry picked up the bank statements first. His eyes went wide as he read. "You've been paying my mortgage for 3 years." "I wanted to help," Michael said quietly. Rosalind found her documents. "My medical bills, my kids' school expenses. This was you. I couldn't watch you struggle when I had the means to help." James was quiet, reading through his papers. Finally, he looked up at Michael. The coaching program, the new basketball court at the community center, the youth league scholarships. You're good at coaching, James. You needed the right training. The kids needed a safe place to play. Larry stood up abruptly. He paced the room. Why didn't you tell us? All this time we thought. I know what you thought, and you had every right to think it. I had been a terrible brother, a terrible son. This was my way of trying to make up for it. But I knew if you found out, you'd reject it. You'd say you didn't want my money. You're right, Larry said, we would have. That's why I didn't tell you, because it wasn't about the money. It was about doing what Dad would have wanted, taking care of family, even if they never knew. Rosalind was crying now, but we were so hard on you, we said such awful things. Things I deserved to hear. You were right about everything. I had forgotten what mattered. I had put basketball above family. The money didn't change that. I still had to do the real work. I had to show up, be present. That's what mattered. James sat down heavily. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. This isn't about gratitude. This is just me loving you the best way I knew how. His mother pulled out the letters to their father. There's more. She handed the letters to Larry. He read a few, his eyes filling with tears. Then he passed them to Rosalind and James. They read in silence, page after page of Michael's pain, his regret, his journey toward understanding. You've been carrying this all alone, Rosalind asked. Not alone. I had therapy, I had Juanita. But yeah, mostly I just wrote to Dad. It helped me process everything. Larry found the trust fund document for the murderers' families. He read it twice. You forgave them, he said. It wasn't a question. I had to, for me, for us. Dad would have wanted that. How do you know? Because I know Dad. He believed in second chances. He believed people were more than their worst mistakes. If he could forgive me for being a terrible son, I could forgive them for being broken, desperate kids who made an unforgivable choice. The room was silent except for quiet crying. Finally, Larry stood up and walked over to Michael. He pulled him into a tight hug. I'm sorry, Larry said. I'm so sorry for everything I said, everything I thought. You had every right. No, I didn't. You were hurting too. You were trying. In your own way, you never stopped trying. Rosalind and James joined the hug, all of them holding each other, crying together, healing together. I still messed up, Michael said. The money doesn't erase that. I still chose basketball over family for too many years. I still missed important moments. I still let Dad down. His mother joined the group hug. Baby, your father never felt let down by you. He was worried about you, but he was always proud of you. Even when I forgot what mattered. Even then, because he knew you'd find your way back. And you did. You did, Michael. They stood there for a long time. A family that had been broken, that had drifted apart, that had almost lost each other forever, but they found their way back. Through pain, through forgiveness, through love. Michael thought about his father, about that last letter. Please don't forget what truly matters. He hadn't forgotten, not really. Even in his darkest moments, even when he was running away, even when he couldn't face his own guilt, he was still trying to take care of them, still trying to be family. He just had to learn that family wasn't about money or gifts or solving problems from a distance. Family was about showing up, being present, doing the hard work of connection. And Michael had learned that lesson, the hard way, the painful way, but he learned it. There's one more thing, his mother said. She reached into the box and pulled out a small envelope. What's that? Michael asked. Your father wrote this the week before he died. I found it in his desk drawer. It's addressed to all of us. She opened it with shaking hands and began to read. To my beautiful family, if you're reading this, I'm gone, but I need you to know something. Michael is not perfect. None of you are, but he loves you more than you know. He shows it differently than you want, but it's real. Don't let anger or hurt break this family apart. James Jordan S.R. The words hung in the air. Their father knew the family was fracturing, knew Michael was struggling, knew they all needed to find their way back to each other, and somehow they had. Michael looked around at his family, his mother, his brothers, his sister, all together, all here. I love you all, he said simply. I always have, I always will, and I promise I'll never forget that again. "We love you too," they said. And this time Michael believed them. Because this time he'd earned it, present day. Michael Jordan's house in Highland Park, Illinois. Michael stood in his living room, the same room where this story began, where he once sat alone holding a letter from Larry, feeling like he'd lost everything. But now the house wasn't empty anymore. Voices came from the kitchen. His mother was teaching his daughter-in-law how to make her famous sweet potato pie, the recipe she'd made for decades. The one Michael grew up eating. "You have to add just a pinch of nutmeg," his mother said. "That's the secret." In the family room, Larry's grandchildren played video games with Michael's sons. They laughed and shouted at the screen. Normal kid noise, the best kind of noise. On the back porch, Larry and James sat with Michael's brothers-in-law watching a basketball game on TV. Not one of Michael's games, just regular basketball. They talked about everything and nothing. Rosalind was in the dining room setting the table for Sunday dinner. Even though they all lived in different cities now, they made time. Once a month they gathered, sometimes in Wilmington, sometimes in Chicago, sometimes at Rosalind's place, but they gathered always. Michael walked to the wall where he kept his photos, not the professional ones from magazine shoots, the real ones. There was a picture from 1975. The whole Jordan family outside their small house on Gordon Road in Wilmington. Young Michael stood in front holding a basketball, his father's arm around his mother. His siblings crowded close. They had nothing back then but each other. Next to it hung a recent photo. The whole family at Michael's last championship in 1998. His 6th ring. His mother in the front row, his siblings beside her, all cheering all together. Between those two photos was 30 years of life, success, failure, loss, redemption. Michael touched the frame of his father's photo, James Jordan Sr. in his favorite blue hat, smiling that warm smile that made everyone feel safe. "I miss you, Dad," Michael whispered. "Every single day, but I'm doing it right now. I'm keeping my promise." "Talking to Grandpa again?" a voice said behind him. Michael turned. His son Jeffrey stood there. He was 16 now, almost the same age Michael was when he got cut from the varsity team. "Yeah, is that weird?" "No, I talk to him too sometimes, even though I never met him." "Really? What do you tell him?" Jeffrey shrugged. "Just stuff about my life, school, basketball. I figure if he's watching, he probably wants to know." Michael smiled. "He is watching, I'm sure of it." They stood together, looking at the photos. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Why do we always have these big family dinners? My friends think it's weird that we do it so much." Michael thought about how to answer, how to explain to his son what he'd learned the hard way. "Because family is the only thing that really matters, Jeff. I forgot that once. Spent years chasing championships and fame. And you know what? All those trophies in that room over there, they're just metal and glass. They don't love you back. They don't care about you. They don't show up when you need them. But family does. Family does, if you take care of them, if you show up, if you remember they're more important than anything else." Jeffrey nodded slowly. "Is that why you retired, back in 1993? "Part of it, I was lost. Grief does that to you. But mostly I realized I'd been living wrong, prioritizing the wrong things." "But you came back to basketball." "I did, but differently. I made sure family came first. I never missed another important moment if I could help it. I called, I visited, I was present. And that made the difference. That made all the difference." Larry came in from the porch. "Hey, Michael, Mom wants everyone in the dining room. Food's ready." Michael put his arm around Jeffrey. "Come on, let's eat." They walked into the dining room. The table was packed with food. Fried chicken, collard greens, macaroni and cheese, cornbread, green beans, everything his mother used to make in that small kitchen in Wilmington. Everyone squeezed around the table. 16 people total, 3 generations, all talking at once, all happy to be together. Michael looked around and felt his heart swell. This was success, not the championships, not the money, this. His mother tapped her glass. "Before we eat, I want to say something." Everyone got quiet. 20 years ago, we almost lost each other. Our family was breaking apart. Grief and anger and hurt were tearing us up. Her voice shook a little. But we found our way back, and I'm grateful for that every single day. She looked at Michael. "I'm grateful that my son learned what his father tried to teach him, that he remembered what truly matters, that he came home. Michael's eyes got hot with tears. "I'm the one who's grateful, Mom. You all could have given up on me. You had every right to, but you didn't. You gave me another chance." Larry raised his glass. "To second chances." "To family," Rosalind added. "To Dad," James said quietly. Everyone raised their glasses, sweet tea mostly, some water, nothing fancy needed. "To family," they all said together. They drank, then they ate, the conversations flowed, stories were told, jokes were made. Kids ran around between courses. It was loud, messy, chaotic. It was perfect. After dinner, Michael helped his mother with dishes, just the two of them in the kitchen, like old times. "You did good, baby," she said, washing a plate. "Did what good?" "Kept your promise. You said you'd never forget again, and you haven't." "I think about it every day, Mom. Every decision I make, I ask myself, would Dad be proud of this? Does this honor what he taught me?" "And what did he teach you?" Michael dried a dish slowly, thinking. "That success without people to share it with is empty. That championships mean nothing if you're alone. That the real measure of a man isn't what he achieves, but how he treats the people he loves." His mother smiled. "He'd be so proud of you now." "I hope so. I know so, because I'm proud of you, not because of basketball, because of the man you became when you finally understood." Later that evening, after everyone left, Michael sat on his back porch. The Chicago skyline glowed in the distance. His phone rang. It was Larry. "Hey, just wanted to say thanks for today. The kids had a great time." "Thanks for coming. It means everything." "I know it does. Listen, Michael, I never properly thanked you for everything you did, the money, the help, all of it." "You don't need to thank me." "Yes, I do. You took care of us when we didn't even know we needed taking care of. That's real love." Michael's throat tightened. "You're my brother. It's what brothers do." "Not all brothers. You're special, Michael. And not because you can play basketball, because you have a good heart. You always did. You just forgot for a while." "I remember now, and I won't forget again." They talked for a few more minutes, then hung up. Michael sat alone with his thoughts. He thought about the journey. The long, painful road from that night in 1993 when his family turned against him to now when they were closer than ever. It hadn't been easy. Forgiveness took time. Trust took longer, but they did the work, all of them. Michael pulled out his father's letter one more time. He kept it in his wallet, always a reminder. "Son, I'm proud of you. But I'm worried you're losing something more important than any championship. Please don't forget what truly matters." Michael had lost it for years, but he found it again, and finding it changed everything. His phone buzzed, a text from his mother. "Thank you for today. Love you always, Mom." Michael smiled and texted back, "Love you too. See you next month." Next month. There would always be a next month, a next dinner, a next gathering, because Michael made it a priority now, not an afterthought, not something to squeeze in between meetings. A priority. He thought about his Hall of Fame induction in 2009. He'd thanked his family first, told the world what he'd learned, that the real championship wasn't on the court. It was in loving the people who loved you back. Some people understood, others didn't. That was okay. Michael wasn't living for them anymore. He was living for his family, for his father's memory, for himself. The documentary came out in 2020, The Last Dance. It showed his career, his championships, his greatness, but it also showed his humanity, his struggles, his family, the real story behind the legend. Millions of people watched. Many reached out to say the same thing. "Thank you for being honest, for showing that success isn't everything, for reminding us what really matters." Michael was glad the story helped others, but mostly he was glad it was true, that he'd actually learned the lesson, that he'd actually changed. Now, sitting on his porch in the quiet night, Michael felt at peace. He'd had an amazing career, 6 championships, 5 MVP awards, 14 All-Star games, more records than he could count. But his greatest achievement wasn't any of those things. His greatest achievement was this: his mother answered when he called. His siblings wanted to spend time with him. His nieces and nephews knew who he was. His own children grew up surrounded by extended family who loved them. He had rebuilt what he'd almost destroyed, healed what he'd broken, found what he'd lost. That was true greatness. That was real success. Michael stood up and walked back inside. He stopped in his trophy room. 6 championship trophies lined the shelves. They sparkled under the lights. Beautiful, historic, important. But in the next room, in frames on the wall, were photos of his family, laughing, hugging, being together, and those photos meant more than all the trophies combined. Michael turned off the light in the trophy room and walked upstairs. Tomorrow he had a business meeting, then a charity event, then a call with his mother. The call with his mother was the most important thing on his schedule, just like always now. He got into bed. Juanita was already asleep. Michael looked at the ceiling and thought about his father one more time. "I did it, Dad," he whispered into the darkness. "I remembered, I came back, I chose what truly matters, and I'm never letting go again." Somewhere Michael believed his father was smiling, proud not of the championships but of the man his son had become. A man who understood that family was everything, that love was the real victory, that showing up was more important than standing out. Michael closed his eyes. For the first time in decades, he felt completely whole, not because he was Michael Jordan, basketball legend, but because he was Michael Jordan's son, brother, father, uncle. A man who forgot what mattered most and spent the rest of his life making sure he never forgot again. The man from Wilmington, the boy who played basketball in his backyard until dark, the kid who made a promise under the stars to make his family proud. He'd kept that promise, finally, in the way that truly mattered, and that made all the difference. And that was the end of this story. Michael Jordan's journey taught us something powerful, that real success isn't measured in championships or money, but in the people who stand beside you when everything else fades away. He almost lost what mattered most, but he found his way back through humility, persistence, and unconditional love. We'd love to know, where are you listening from? Drop your location in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button. It helps us bring you more incredible, emotional stories like this one. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss another inspiring video. We share real stories about real people who faced impossible choices and discovered what truly matters. Finally, share this video with your friends and family. In a world that often values fame and success above everything else, we all need reminders about what's really important. Spread this message of kindness, family, and redemption. Thank you for listening. Until next time, remember, the greatest victories happen when we choose love over everything else.